Could we start by talking about those?
Well, we'll talk about these, yes. This is my victory top. This is a celebration of our allies. And on the back, we have the French and the Kuwaitis, but I'm just so happy about the way everything has turned out that I want to celebrate it. I have one of those caps with the stars and the stripes. I've got a jacket. I mean, I've been very patriotic. I've been glued to the television ever since the war started and rooting. And now that the boys are back, I think it's fantastic. And the girls.
Yeah, I'm very happy.
Most of them. Well, you've become such a star since, I mean, you were a star before, but now you're a major star.
I've just been elected to do this, and...
No, such modesty.
And when they're tired of me, I'll be gone.
Oh, sure.
A star is like you, someone who lasts through time and stands the test of time. Not hundreds of years, but you've been around and you're still there, and that's a star. I'm a little Mickey Mouse late night celebrity.
Oh, please.
And I don't have a book.
Sweet thing. Well, you will. You will. I know you'll have a book. I can see.
Love and desire and hate. I probably shouldn't even ask you what the book's about.
Well, I would say the book is actually about a group of people, a group of very diverse people during the last war, actually. And when I was writing it, we did not have this war. And I remember, because I was a little kid during the last war, that everybody was filled with emotion. There was a great deal of fear. There was a great deal of pain. There was a great deal of love and a great deal of excitement at the times when the war looked like that we were doing very well. So I've taken a group of people, some from Greece, one from Hollywood, one from New York, one from Paris, one from England. They were all doing very different things. One is a hooker, one is a young actor, one is just, a kid on an island, and how their lives intertwine and they meet 10 years later when they're all grown up. They're all involved in making an epic film in Acapulco. Do you know Acapulco?
I've been once.
Oh, it's the most wonderful, glamorous, exciting place. And this was the time when they made the epic films in the 50s. They were making things like The Robe and The Ten Commandments and all those great films. So all these people meet, and there is one dastardly villain called Umberto Scroffo, who's the most awful person that I think one can ever imagine. And I wanted to make, really the most horrible villain that had ever existed. And some rather, the most glamorous leading man that ever walked the face of the earth. And some beautiful, wonderful creatures, young, middle-aged, old. And it's a good read, I think.
Now, excuse my ignorance, but is this your first book?
No, this is my fifth book,
your fifth
actually.
Book.
It's the third book that's been published in America. The first book was my autobiography, my steamy autobiography, in which I left no stone unturned or untold. And I enjoyed doing that so much, and I realized that there was so much that I hadn't yet written about that I could in my own life, but that I didn't want to write my autobiography part 2. So I wrote my first novel, Primetime, in which I came on the show about 2 years ago, which was all about behind the scenes of a Hollywood soap opera. Guess where that was. And then this one is completely different because it goes back. It's a romance. It's a thriller. It's a page turner, I think. And
you really write these. This is you.
Yes, completely. That's me on the back too, rather, with my turban. So, yes, I write every single word. I write in sort of longhand, and then I get it all typed out.
Because last time you were here, I know you brought this book and you said you wrote it, but I said her sister wrote this book. She didn't write this book, But you actually are really into this.
Well, there's something about writing. If you really want to write, it just is inside you, and you want to bring it out, and it just comes out, and it's like I've been writing all my life. And when my children were young, instead of me reading them stories at night, they used to like me to tell them stories because I have a very good imagination.
I can imagine.
Pervert imagination. And so I told them stories, and I made them up. Because it's all up there. And I think about things all the time, and I think about situations and how I can embellish them and how I can put them into my books, so my characters have a life of their own. So it's all, I have to say, something that I love doing, and it also gives me control over my own life. Because I don't have to be sitting waiting for the telephone to ring to see if somebody's going to ask me to do a movie of the week or a miniseries. I can say, right, I'm going to write a book. I'm going to go off and sit in my house in the south of France and write a book.
I didn't know you for this, and I guess I know you for acting, and I'm like, yeah, right. But I'm going to read this. What will I find out about you in this book that I don't know?
Well, you'll find out that I've done a hell of a lot of research about lots of things, because it's when you write about today, when you write about 1991 or 1989 or whatever, it's very easy because you can describe a room, you can describe what people wear, you can describe how much everything is, what hotels are like, what transportation's like. When you're writing about 1943 to 1955, which is what I was doing, you have to research every single detail. And when you're writing about a particular place, for example, when I'm writing about New York and the various bars and nightclubs and things that were there at the time, you can't write about it as it was today. You have to find out what it was like and who was there and the description of the clothes and how much it was. And I did a lot of research, and I think you'll find out that that's pretty interesting, because a novel really should entertain and should also in some way educate. I mean, this is not an educational book, this is an entertaining book, but it also it's going to tell you something. And I think that you'll find out a lot of things that went on during the war, and a lot of things that the Nazis did, and a lot of things that happened in London, in theatre land, when I use some real characters in my book, because my leading man is a very famous actor, so I use